master data and its attributes, all the physical data. When you load it to an info object, it gets saved in a table called as P table. Were you aware of this?
No, I don't know.
The text data gets saved in the T table. The hierarchy data gets saved in H table. The SID data gets saved in S table.
The S table contain what?
SID.
SID, yeah, okay.
All right. Now,
okay.
Can you tell me the difference between loading of data? I mean, why would anyone want to load data into a DSO and into an info cube? What would be the reason? How it is different?
The difference
Please
between
don't
what
mind
and
me.
what?
I'm asking. Yeah, the reason I'm asking you this question is because I wanted to have a clear understanding before I teach you BW and HANA. The thing is, prerequisite for anyone who wants to upgrade its
to the
their
BW
skill.
and HANA. Yeah, I understand you, but actually I didn't hear the question.
Okay, no, I was asking when you what kind. Okay, let me rephrase it.
Okay.
Why would anyone choose to load data into a DSO?
Okay.
Or into an info cube? What would be the logical reason behind it?
Yeah, okay. Concerning the difference between the two, that the info cube is aggregate the data measures, while the ODS, it just I put depending on the keys I put in the key field, it override the other data except the key fields I put. It's override the values.
So basically, in other words, I will get more detailed information from a DSO and I can expect aggregated kind of data from an info cube, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And have you worked on SPO, hybrid provider, virtual provider?
Which provider?
SPO, semantic partition object.
No.
And no. Hybrid provider.
No. I just work on the data store, ODS, info cube, info objects, data source. That's it.
Okay.
And the info sets for sure and multi-providers.
Have you worked on APD, Analysis Process Designer?
No, I just heard. No, actually.
Okay. How about process chains?
Yeah, I worked with process chain.
Performance improvement?
No. I only just with the process chain, I only automate what I do, what I'm doing with the ODS and the info cube, and that's it.
Okay, so from BW point of view, you're working on DSO and info cubes.
Exactly.
Okay, and so you have a knowledge on mostly focusing on DSO and info cubes, right?
On what?
You have knowledge on DSO and on info cubes.
And info cubes, yeah.
And you have worked on multi-provider, info set.
Info sets, yeah.
And how about virtual provider?
Sorry?
Virtual provider.
Virtual provider?
Virtual provider.
No. I didn't work with virtual provider.
And okay, so that's something you didn't work on. So just put it down here.
Yeah. Okay.
And you also may not have worked on SPO.
No.
And hybrid provider.
Yeah, I didn't work with them.
Okay. And how about extraction? Extraction from ECC.
Okay, let me tell you what I understand from the question. I loaded normal extraction. I loaded from the either if it's a standard data source or a customized one based on either also an ABAP program, info view, info set. What else do you want to ask about?
Well, you're partly correct. We deal with standard data sources as well as we create our custom data sources.
Yeah.
There is a name for the kind of extractor we use. Have you worked on LO extractor?
Yeah. I worked on LO extractor for SD. Only, yeah, SD. Mainly SD, the condition, billing, sales document, and so on.
Okay. Then
Concerning purchasing and inventory.
okay. And have you done master data extraction from
What?
ECC to BW?
Master data extraction?
Yep.
Okay. Concerning the master data, I just activate the data sources from dev ERP and then transform it to the production and then replicate it on the BW and then activate. Also, I tried to do customized master data, customized data source for master data.
Okay. So have you worked on generic data source?
Okay, look, I worked on it, but actually, to be honest, concerning the delta loading, I'm a little bit confused on it, as most of my requirements, I found it, I can't decide when I will use the delta, actually how to use the delta. I know when to use the delta, but actually I don't know how to use it and the types, and if it's better to use the delta or it's better for the full loading for some purpose concerning the business. This part is a little bit confusing for me, especially when I'm doing a customized data source.
Okay. And how about delta when it comes to LO data sources?
How what?
How about the delta mechanism concerning LO data sources, logistic data sources?
Okay. Yeah, also what I know, the delta mechanism, it just puts like a flag or a pointer concerning the field that I give while creating the delta, whether it is in a timestamp or any say example sales order. So it takes the last extraction it stopped on, and then the other extraction it take only the differences between the old one and the new one.
So you have a theoretical understanding about it. There are three different delta mechanism when you work with
I know the three, but I don't know the differences and when to use this and when to use this. This is exactly my problem, especially when I do the delta node on a customized data source.
Okay. Sorry. All right. Then that next topic is about performance improvement. Have you worked on it?
No.
Do you know anything about indexes, compression, aggregates, roll-ups?
Roll-ups, no.
Partitioning?
No.
Then when you say that you have worked on process chain can never be blank without performance improvement tools. Because performance improvement tools, when you work with our normal
what do you
BW
mean by performance improvement tools? Maybe I don't know that this is
these
a
are the
name for
tools.
something I know.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll explain that to you. All right. Then, having done this, do you know how to transport data from across the landscape?
Concerning ERP, yes. I didn't try on the BW.
Okay. Then how about Bex query designer? How good are you with that? What all concepts do you know about it?
Okay, I didn't work a lot on the Bex query. I just do the filtration, the pumpets, variables, normal query. I actually worked a lot on the IDT, Information Design Tool, creating universes, that foundation, and so on.
Okay, okay, thank you. Bex queries, we need to work on that. Analyzer. Okay, now this brings me to the next question. Now, these are the topics which I have mentioned, which uh, you're familiar with these topics, right? Then when it comes to the basic knowledge about info object, and then about virtual provider, about extraction, especially about concerning delta, and then one of the most important topic, that is performance improvement, and then the Bex queries. Would you want to learn all these?
When?
Would you want to learn all these topics?
Sure. I think
right? Okay.
I think this would improve my normal work, and I don't know if HANA would depend on the understanding of this. I think yes.
The reason why I say this, I've taken a lot of online demos, and people have come to me seeking only BW on HANA training. And when I ask them about BW knowledge, they either have little or just the support knowledge. So what happens is when you work as a BW consultant in full-fledged, let's say you've been put into a project, BW project, and you're responsible of migrating a BW object from the regular RDBMS system to HANA database system. So you should be in a position to understand the architectural differences between each object.
Let me tell you something here. I was working in a project that they migrated to HANA, and I was in a normal BW, and it was with me. But actually, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, but I just reactivated all the objects. Some of them I reloaded them, and that's it. I didn't find any differences. I don't know, this is because I didn't use all the components of BW. I just reactivated the info cubes and the ODS that I was using. I was using the data source and the info cube 0 RPA. This is for a POS-DM data. So when they migrated, I just only work on this, and that's it.
Okay, all right. Okay. See now, BW on HANA as a course, it is only of 25 hours.
Okay.
And what you learn in this is, you learn about HANA optimized BW object.
Okay.
That is, you learn about HANA optimized DSO, info cubes, virtual providers, transient provider. Then you have new objects, like of course transient provider is the new object which you would not have heard about it. Then you have advanced DSO. Then you have composite provider. And then you have open ODS view.
Okay.
All right. These are the new additions in BW on HANA. Whether you're working on 7.4 or you're working on 7.5, these objects are going to be there. Among all of these objects,
concerning 7.3, does it exist?
No.
Okay.
In 7.3 on HANA, yes, it does exist on 7.3 HANA. But normally, at least as far my experience goes, I've never worked on 7.3 on HANA. You have worked on 7.4 on HANA.
Yeah. Okay.
There's not much of a difference in either of them. Pretty much same. All right. Then what you will learn in BW and HANA is, apart from the HANA optimized object, you're going to learn HANA modeling as well. Okay. But
okay,
mind
this HANA modeling here, you mean modeling with HANA Studio?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So here we're going to learn about using HANA Studio. Then we're going to learn how to configure HANA database system to work on.
Okay.
How to create tables. Okay. Using GUI or SQL console.
You mean on the ERP, right?
Sorry?
GUI, you mean on the ERP, creating the table that I want on the ERP and then use it, right?
I will be using HANA Studio to create tables. So I can do it using the graphical user interface, or I can write a SQL code for that.
Okay.
Yeah, within the HANA Studio.
I got it.
Right. So you will be also getting to learn basics about SQL. Okay. We will learn how to import data from flat file and to the HANA database table. We'll also learn how to add data using SQL queries, SQL script. Okay. Then we're going to learn about HANA information views.
The analytical attribute calculation, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Calculation. Okay.
Okay. Concerning this part on the HANA modeling, how to import I don't know if I have a control or not, but in line, how to import data from flat file to the HANA database. This is only from flat file?
Yes, that is only from flat file.
Yeah, you don't come upon the ERP tables?
No, I'm going to come to that point. So these are the basic things which you can do within the HANA Studios. All right. Now, when the scenario comes in wherein you have to migrate data from ERP to HANA, like from ECC. For example, you want to migrate tables like VBAK or VBAP or EKKO. So you want to use an ETL tool for that. And that ETL tool is BODS, Business Object Data Services.
Okay. I can see what you are writing. I don't know why.
Well, I'm writing at the bottom. You see the screen?
Yes, I see the screen, but I can't see anything except the last thing you wrote, calculation views.
That's strange, because I've actually written BODS dash ETL dash.
No.
You still can't see?
What?
You still can't see?
Yeah, the last thing I can see, calculation views. Okay, scroll down a little bit.
Okay. Actually, I think there is a delay between where I am and what you're seeing.
Yeah, but I can hear you well, but I can't see except the calculation view, the last thing I can see.
Okay. Are you able to hear my voice clearly now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. You still can't see BODS that I've mentioned written?
Yeah,
ETL?
yeah. The last thing, just I see HANA information views, the three views. That's it. And
Oh,
the cursor is on calculation views, and that's it.
oh, okay. Maybe there is a delay in what you're seeing and what I'm writing here. Because if you
Mm,
can hear me, then maybe
yeah,
there is some internet issue.
that's yeah, that's inspiring.
Okay,
Mm,
so no worries. I'm pretty sure it'll you'll be able to see everything. So just
yeah,
hear me out for
yeah.
now. So
Now
you're
I
gonna
can see.
okay, okay. So this, as I said, there's a delay.
Yeah.
So BODS is an ETL tool which will allow us to access data real time from ECC and from BW to HANA database system. So this is actually an additional topic. You don't get this topic as part of BW and HANA. It is not part of the course, but I
Mhm.
anyways include it because though it is not part of the course, but it certainly is part of your roles and responsibility. So you should
Mhm.
know this. But I will not be teaching you in depth because I will teach you how much I know.
Mhm.
BODS is a different subject altogether, just like BobJ. So you have greater things to learn from it. But you will be learning enough to
Mhm.
extract data from ECC to HANA without facing any
Mhm.
issues. So we'll do some scenarios as well, which will allow you to customize the kind of data you'll be importing from ECC and transferring it to HANA. So that's something we're going to
Mhm.
work on.
Okay, let me ask about something else. Um, okay, let me say concerning the normal way that I extract data, either if I'm using BW or even if I'm doing my reports with Bob J directly from the ERP, sometimes I face some requirements that need to read from a function module, or if I need to do if I want to write an ABAP code in the background, so I do infosat and then I write in the coding part what I want and so on. All these scenarios I was using it as a workaround to reach the requirements and do my required data source and then load it to the BW. So here I have no BW. I'm working directly to the database. So is
Hmm.
there also a way that I will use it concerning such requirements if HANA only just read database tables, or also I can read from function modules and so on. This in all these scenarios. I want to know.
Okay. When it comes to the data sources, the best tool to use is BW.
No, I just at the past I don't have or the normal way I don't have except the BW. Now I have HANA as a database. So my
Hmm.
question here, is it necessary to know or I think I want something like this, to know how to to make my reports directly on HANA database without using BW. My question here, what the workarounds that I was using when I was using the BW here, uh, if I am I able to do it in the ERP and HANA only? Let's say if I have a requirement that they want to read data directly from a function module, so
Hmm.
HANA give me the option to read data from either from function module or even to write a code, uh, whether if it's an ABAP code or SQL or whatever.
No, no, no. See, when the kind of requirement that you are talking about concerning ERP and HANA,
Yeah.
That's something which you will not be doing. That activity, of course, you cannot use functional module to HANA system. Okay.
Okay.
Secondly, if the requirement comes in wherein you would add an ABAP code, create a functional module according to the requirement, and then do a reporting on it, if there is such a scenario, then you will have to ask the bots consultant, BODS consultant, to develop an SQL query within the bot system. Okay, what you would do in ERP system, you will have to get it done through a BODS consultant, and he will design that kind of logic for you, and then you will be able to extract the data to the HANA database system and do reporting on HANA directly.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask about what's the BODS system. I don't know what's this.
BODS, it's an ETL tool, Business Object Data Services, and its job is to connect two native or non-native systems together, and it helps us to extract data from a source system to the target system. So it can be an ERP system, SAP, or it can be a non-SAP system. So it does not distinguishes between which source system we are using.
Yeah, you
So
mean if I want to, like the BW, I was able to join multiple source system here. The BODS replace this part, so I can read my data from multiple source systems, right?
correct. That will be done
Okay.
by a bots consultant, BODS consultant, not by you. That is out of your scope.
Okay. Got it.
Right? As I told you, BODS is not something which is part of the course, but this is
Yeah.
something I normally teach to all my candidates. The reason, because if sometimes the situation comes wherein you are supposed to do something because the bots consultant is not around, you don't want the work to be hanging, in mid-air. So you can take initiative and you can do whatever best you can. So I'm going to teach you how to extract single table, multiple tables. When you're going for multiple tables, how to restrict data for a specific values only. Those kind of information we can migrate to HANA system.
Okay. Great.
So now the objects which we discussed over here, transient providers, advanced virtual composite, these all objects can extract data or can handle data not only from an ERP system but also from HANA views. So you can have a combined approach of playing with ECC data as well as the data available in the HANA database system. So these are very unique objects, not something which you have experience with. So
Yeah.
this will definitely take your interest to a whole new level.
You mean here that say advanced DSO read the data from, let's say, calculation view. So here I can do what I want on the BW and getting some data from the information view.
See,
Okay.
yeah, that's correct. Now, what you need to understand here is what we have attribute views in HANA is actually an info object in BW, and DSO and info cube is known as analytical view in HANA system, and advanced DSO and composite provider is known as calculation view in HANA system.
Okay.
Okay, so there are a lot of similarities and uniqueness about each views which we will discuss in detail. So let me just introduce you to the system. Now this is your HANA Studio, right?
Yeah.
HANA
Yeah.
Studio uses its own GUI, unlike the NetWeaver that we are all familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, 1 minute.
Let me ask about something. If you are while the course, all the session is recorded, so I can hear it again.
Yeah, usually they are recorded.
Okay.
All right, so this is your HANA Studio. I'm also going to teach you how to migrate object from BW running on SQL to BW running on HANA system. If you want to migrate the object with the same technical name, with same data, how is that we can achieve? Now this is your HANA Studio. As you can see, this is the database system, right, which is already configured. So our job, if you're using this for the first time, you may not probably see the database system over here. So how do we add the database system is something that I will teach you. Then you need to log on into it. You'll be provided with a password. Then we have catalog, we have content. Under the catalog, this colorful icon is called a schema, and under the schema you can create tables. When you right click on tables, you can create using an SQL console or using the GUI method. This is the GUI method, and this is where we can write the SQL script to create a table. All right.
Okay.
Then this is an import option that I'll be teaching you on how to extract data from a local file, from an Excel or CSV file. After this is done, I'll be teaching you how to work with information views. So for that, we need to go to contents. Under content, we will have this brown color icon or folder like icon called as packages. And when you right click on this package, these are the views that we'll be learning: attribute, analytical, and calculation view. Okay. Yeah, these three views is what we'll be learning. Then after that, we'll move on to the BW modeling part. So we'll click on BW modeling. What I like about this is it's pretty decent, from the presentation point of view. It is pretty simple and easy to use. Now, this is exactly what you can see in your BW system. If you go to your BW on HANA using your NetWeaver GUI, yeah. All right, so now you can see that I have my info area here. So this is my 6:30 a.m. batch. These guys are from US. So this is composite provider, and you cannot right away create composite provider. You see, you have hybrid and virtual, but you don't see composite provider. You don't see advanced DSO, because we can't create them using our NetWeaver platform. So composite provider I can create using a T code. The T code to create composite provider would be RSLIMOBW. So this is how I create composite provider. Okay. Now, if I want to create anything related to advanced DSO, composite provider, OpenNodeJS using HANA Studio, this is my info area. When you right click on it, see, these are three things that I can.
Then you can create everything from HANA Studio that you can create on the ERP, on the BW.
No, from 7.4, you can create only these three objects. You cannot create info objects. You cannot create data source using this interface. In case if you want to create, you don't want to leave the HANA Studio interface. You want to create the objects. What SAP has done is something next to genius. They have given you the SAP GUI link right here. There you go. As you can see, now I'm actually into my BW system. So whatever it is, I can easily create. And then in the source system part, I'm going to teach you how to create DB Connect that will allow you to access HANA tables
Yeah.
directly to BW, and how to create ODP, operational data provisioning, how to use
Okay.
HANA views to BW for reporting purposes.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are a few of many things that you'll be learning, and this is BODS tool that I was talking to you about.
Yeah.
This is an additional tool that you'll be learning.
Then you worked with BODS?
Yeah, I work with BODS as well. Lately, I've taught a candidate from Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
He was also having a similar requirement like yours. So he has good experience in BOBJ or BOBI,
Mm-hmm.
but little experience related to BW. So the first concept of yours, when I asked you where does the master data is stored, you said it is dimension table. That is actually wrong. Master data is not stored in dimension table any longer. This is an old concept.
Yeah, I read it before. I didn't know that it was an old concept.
This was used during BW 3.5. So we are in 7, we are almost in 7.5, but
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
logic was to do with 3.5. So that we have to work on. What do you know the rule to create an info cube? There is a basic diagram that we have to create before we create info cube.
Okay.
Okay, that is called as ERM, entity relationship modeling.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to do that in order to create an info cube. So
Any
that
and yeah.
again, yeah, we have to understand how does that work? How do we decide? Many of these things. All right, so this is your BODS. So we create a data source, then we create a target over here, then we do the transformation over here. So this tool, I'll be teaching you how to create all of this. This tool will allow us to connect to ECC and then bring it to BW system or HANA system. That is
Okay. On again, you hear this tool you are from the normal ERP to
ERP to HANA.
ERP HANA. Okay. So what's the point here? If a customer have an old ERP and then he migrate to HANA, then I'll work directly to the HANA. So what's the purpose here?
Well, not everyone has moved their ERP system to HANA. So ERP is still pretty much in use, okay? And as long as ERP is existing independent of HANA's database system, you will definitely require BODS as a tool. And even if ECC is running on HANA database system, still you require BODS because BODS allows you to access data on real time. There's almost a fraction of second difference between the data being posted in ERP system and the data being captured in HANA database system.
Okay, but I'm confused here. I think the customer that I used to work with, they only migrated their database to HANA. So they directly worked on the database and create the reports. What I think here, that the old one is migrated to the HANA and now there's no old ERP. I don't know if it exists in here. My question comes: do you mean that they will have two different databases and they will work on both of them, or they will discard the old one after migration to HANA?
Yeah, Now that is something which is completely dependent on the nature, the decision of the client. Now, as long as I have worked across my corporate clients, not many people have jumped from what do you say, from ECC running on SQL database to HANA database system, because ERP, as we know, where SD, MM, FI, HR data is stored, is now being replaced by a new concept called as S4 HANA. That is simple
Yeah.
logistics, simple finance, right? So there is still a gap that needs to be filled between the S4 HANA and the regular ECC system. Nonetheless, if if the ERP system has been migrated completely to HANA, and there are S4 HANA consultant, simple logistic or simple finance consultant working exclusively on HANA database system, then there is absolutely no problem for you to have access to the database tables directly.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we have this case. What I saw through the projects, that they directly connect to the database, and they work with the HANA Studio and model what they want, and then directly with the BW tools do the reports, and that's it.
Yeah, that is again scenario where everything is in HANA system. Now, the reason I'm showing you this, I'm showing you how to use this tool, is considering the scenario that you may not have ECC running on database, HANA database yet. As you can see, this is your MS SQL database system for ECC 6.0. And when you want to migrate the data from this database system to HANA database system, BODS plays a pretty vital role over here.
Okay.
Then if you don't want, I will not teach you.
What?
If you do not want this, I will not teach you. It's completely up to you.
No, it's good. But here, I think what you're saying concerning this example concerning the table here, I can migrate anything, any table, either if it's a Z table or customized table or standard table.
Any table. There's no restriction. You can use standard tables, you can use Z tables, or even view tables if you want.
Okay. Great. Okay, another question concerning the BODS. Here I can control my target system if I would connect from, say, ERP, normal ERP to the BW on HANA?
Yeah. You can do a lot of things, and I think I'll be in a much better situation to explain to you when I'm actually teaching you, because there are some things which you cannot verbally explain to the satisfaction, but at times the moment you have system in your hand, then you can actually show the magic, then explain the magic. So see, this is a very small example on the screen. We have the HANA database table, that is KNA1, all right? And this is the database table. This is ECC. This is coming from ECC.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is your HANA DB. So I want this data to enter into HANA system. So I'm going to apply logic over here. This is my transformation. Okay, all of this is possible in your BODS interface only. So this is a single table. Like this, I can have multiple tables.
I think here my question that I asked you about, I think this would solve it, concerning if I'm reading from views or. Okay, let me ask another thing. It's just only a table I can migrate, or if I'm doing infosats or even a function model that gives a table data or something, I can migrate also? or
No,
just as a table and views only?
yeah, just the table and views only. Nothing.
Okay.
The tables, as long as it is a table, you can, but not a functional module. I have
Mm,
personally not worked on it, so that is a question mark even for me to
mm-hmm.
give you a concrete answer. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure because I have not actually worked on such scenarios in my entire
Yeah,
training
yeah.
and working experience. But
Mm-hmm.
there is no harm in keeping options open, and at least once you understand how to use this tool, we are
For
more
sure.
than free to try our doubts. We can ourselves resolve it because you have
Yeah,
a clear idea in your mind what is that you want to achieve having
what I
learned the
want.
tool.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
my job is to teach you how to use the tool, how to use it,
Okay,
and what are the difficulties, and how to resolve it, how to overcome it. Now,
okay,
once you
great.
understand those things, you will be in a far much better position to try and work around the way you want to see whether it works, it doesn't work, if it is possible or not possible. So that will give you a, what do you say, a conclusive answer. It's only when we try as per our desire, we will get to uh, see the output, experience the output firsthand.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going to teach you what I know best, and you have to take my best and make it into your
Yeah.
best. So that's how it will work.
Okay, great.
All right. So from my end, I have explained to you what all things will be covered. So I personally feel that you should do BW on SQL as well. Not all the aspect, but at least a brush through. So I would want you to understand the concept of info object first. Then I will
Okay.
brush you through the concept of TSOs and cubes. And since you're already familiar with multi-provider info set, so I'll not be touching on those topics. Then I will straight away jump into the extraction part, wherein I'll explain to you about standard LO and generic data sources. And I will explain to you the delta mechanism, how to, you know,
Yeah,
uh, replicate the standard or the generic data source to BW, maintaining the delta mechanism. When you go for full, when you go for initialize with data transfer, without data transfer, when do you go for delta transfer, those concepts. Then performance
yeah,
improvement will be taught. Process chain using performance improvement will be taught. Then transportation of object, open up destination, data flow diagram, then Bex query. You need to know that as well. Then we'll come to the HANA modeling part, then BW and HANA. So if we cover all of these things, so easily the course duration can go up to 45 days, then 25 hours, 45 hours, sorry.
well, mm,
Yeah. But all these concepts are very important. It's my, what do you say, a friendly suggestion.
yeah,
And if you still want to go with BW and HANA, that is in that course you're going to get to learn only these things that I mentioned earlier. This is what you'll be learning.
okay,
This is what will be covered in BW and HANA part.
okay. What about the above? The above part?
APAP. There is no APAP
Sorry?
on BW and HANA.
No, 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 I didn't say above.
Uh,
The part above this?
okay. That again, that is exclusive of this course.
Okay. What do you think should I start with and how?
Okay. So now, as I just explained to you earlier, I will probably create a customized course for you. Okay.
Okay.
Wherein we will start as if we're starting from the scratch, as if you're doing BW for the first time in the initial few days. All right. Once
Okay.
we touch upon the master data concept, because there are many things, it's not measures, it is key figures, and key figures have several data types. Then there is something called as cumulative, non-cumulative,
Mhm.
summarization, aggregation. There are many concepts, and I feel it is important. No information in BW should be taken lightly. Whether you have worked, you have not worked, or you may not get this job not immediately, but in case if you have something like this in future, then you should be prepared rather than having an opportunity and not being
know the basics and build above it.
Yeah, because if you come across a person like me and who's gonna ask you questions, so you should be in a position to answer him on equal terms.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I'm gonna talk to the organizer concerning the plan of action that I have for you, and then you can discuss with them further how it will work. So so again, just to sum it up, these are the topics that I'll be covering, but it'll be kind of fast track.
Okay.
Because I believe that you have worked on many of the topics. This concept.
What do you think? For how long it would take? What do you think? Around average.
Would take, maximum. I think it should take about maximum. It should take about 40 hours, max to max.
Okay.
Right, because this would take about 25 hours for sure, considering how fast we go. Then Beck's query will take at least a week's time to cover. Aggregates, the performance improvement will take 2 or 3 days. Then the delta mechanism to explain both about LO and ECC, that will take around 2 days or 2 hours, 3 hours. And then SPO, 4 hours total. Info object and the basics of BW will take about 3 to 4 hours. So that way, if I have to calculate it, it takes about 40 to 45 hours.
Okay. Okay,
yeah, but these are all okay with this.
Yeah, okay, I don't mind.
Yeah. And if we go in detail, it takes about 70 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So since you're already working, I don't want to, treat you like a fresher. I would talk to you as if on equal terms, and we'll professionally share each knowledge with each other, and we'll just intimate each other the concepts that we know, and where I should skip this and I can move ahead. But I will give you complete soft copies for each topic that we'll be discussing. Plus, I think these guys would be recording the videos as well, so you'll have access to that as well. So,
great.
So I hope to hear from you soon, and
for sure. I'm okay. It's my pleasure to know you.
Same here. It was lovely talking with you, and I hope I have clarified most of your queries.
Yeah, it's of the record. It's my first time to treat with I think you are Indian, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, with an Indian guys, and to understand the accent, and this is what mainly made me comfortable. So that's great. Yeah, I treated with lots of Indians, and my major problem was, even if they are perfect and excellent, but actually I have the major part that is their accent. I don't understand anything.
Yeah.
Which make it impossible.
No, again, off the book, this is one of the main reason people, they are far more comfortable learning under me. Whereas there are even more people, there are people who are far more experienced, far more skillful than me. But it again boils down to having knowledge. I don't think so it's that important. What is important is conveying or explaining or delivering your knowledge in simple language that the first person should be able to understand. That is the key.
Yeah.
So I have actually I've been in London. I've studied my masters over there, and I worked there for 4 years. Prior to that, so
I think that's the reason. It
Well,
contributed
no, actually.
in performing your accent.
Well, see, I originally come from Bombay, so
Yeah.
we have neutral English over there in Bombay. There
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of mother tongue influence in the southern part of India because there the English language is not that proficient, and when people speak,
Yeah.
they have a lot of their local influence on it. Whereas, I have a pretty neutral accent, and of course, I would not deny the fact that when I went to UK, it was
Mm.
more polished over there, and I understood the importance of pronunciation and speaking slowly and
Yeah.
clearly. So that was something I will definitely take it, and I'm very proud of what I've achieved over there. And so
Yeah.
I'm reaping the benefits till now, and I hope to continue, reaching out to as many people as possible. That's my
For
another
sure.
profession. All
Good
right,
luck.
then I
Good
think
luck.
it's getting too late for me. I have got to sleep now. So
Oh,
it was lovely
that
talking with you, Miss Rana. I can call you Miss Rana.
yeah, yeah. How I would contact you, or how the next step, what would be?
Next step, I think you will have to contact
It's
you.
my first time actually to have an online course, so I don't know what's the policy.
Yeah. So how it works is the people who are in touch with you, who are organizing this meeting,
Yeah,
so they will
Janish.
be the
Yeah.
point of contact, and
Okay.
you got to contact them, and I'll be in touch with them. So
Great.
till we finalize with all the important steps that we have to take before we officially enter into the training phase, you will have to contact them. Once
Okay.
it is all settled and we are good to go,
Yeah.
then we can be in direct touch. So that's not a problem. But
Okay.
initially, you will have to discuss anything and concerning the fee, the timing, the server access, the video
Yeah.
access will be the organizer.
With Janish. Okay. No problem. Great.
All right. Good night from here. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night. Bye bye.